This is Dave with Taboo Customs. This video today we're going to cover our fire pits, both our standard fire pits and our custom fire pits. Then at the end of this video, if you've already purchased a fire pit, we're going to cover how to assemble that fire pit. Now our fire pits are roughly 2 foot by 2 foot square. They're about 10 inches deep on the inside where the fire would be, and then they sit 3 to 4 inches off the ground. Now the material that makes up the fire pit is all 10 gauge hot rolled steel. It's about an 1/8 inch thick. So the material is thick enough that when you get it, you can either leave the material raw and let the natural patina, the rust, take over, or in the case of this fire pit here, coat it in a high temp paint and it should last for you for quite a while. Now in our standard fire pits are the same as our custom fire pits, just that in our standard fire pits you won't have any of this cut into the sides, so they'll be solid sides. Now if you do want a custom fire pit, we have several options that we can do. Now here you can see we can cut logos, we can cut animals, we can cut different items into there. We've cut several different things like deer and turkey and fish, and then also names. We can do names in the side. Now with all 4 sides, we can do it with something different on each side, or the same on all 4 sides, or 2 sides the same. We can do it however you would like it. Whenever you purchase a fire pit from us that you want customized, when you purchase that, just comment in the purchase what you would like on there. We'll get a hold and we'll work with you to create the artwork. So what we'll do is we'll actually create all 4 sides. We'll put it together in a model and we'll send you a picture of what your fire pit will look like before we actually cut it so you can approve it. Now if you're watching this video and you're interested in purchasing one of our standard or custom fire pits, you can go to taboocustoms.com and they'll be available there on our website to purchase. You can also get a hold of us on our Facebook page, Taboo Customs. Now, if you've purchased one of our fire pits and you're interested in how it gets assembled, this next part will go through the assembly with you. Alright, so the first step in your assembly will be assembling the base that fits down inside the fire pit. So you'll need to find the 2 pieces that make up the base, and they'll be the 2 pieces that have a single form on them. The sides here will actually have 2 forms, one going each direction, and I'll have a couple of holes in the side. The base will have 1 form and I'll have some full holes in the flange. Take those 2 pieces and line them up with the holes with the flanges on each side. And you take your bolt, washer, and a nut, and all of these bolts are going to be 5/16 bolts, so it'll take a 1/2 inch a 1/2 inch socket or ratchet, whatever you'd like to use. For speed, we're going to use a socket and an impact. Get those hand tight. Now you're going to want to make sure that on the ends are flush, and then make sure you do it on a flat surface so you keep the bottom of it flush, or what will be the top eventually. Now all of the hardware uses whiz nuts here, so a lot of times you won't need to put any kind of socket or wrench on this back nut. It'll automatically dig into the material and tighten down itself. So once you've got that bottom set up, just set it aside. So for the second step, you're going to want to make up 2 basically end assemblies. So you'll start with one of the sides, and then you'll need 2 of the legs. You can start by bolting the legs to the outside of the side, and you'll just do these hand tight. So now this will basically create an end assembly, and you'll want to create 2 of these and then move on to the next step. So once you have the two end assemblies set up, we can work on putting our third side in. Now, one thing I failed to mention in the previous step is that make sure you're using or putting the sides in the correct orientation. The top will have angles cut into the flange. The bottom will actually be notched. So this is actually the bottom, and that is the top. So once you have your end assemblies created, you can work on installing this third side. Just use one of the end assemblies. Loosely install your hardware. And then you can attach this other assembly. You can drop the nut a couple of times. Like I said, just put everything hand tight for now. The next step we'll be putting in our fourth side. So once you have all four sides assembled to the fire pit, you've got the hardware loose. What you'll need to make sure before you tighten it all down is check two things. One, make sure that the tops are all level at the corners, that one is not higher than the other by a whole lot. And then you're also going to want to make sure that it's roughly square before you start tightening all the bolts down. Once you do that, you can go ahead, tighten all of those bolts down, and get ready to put the base in. Now with the base, it should pretty much, as long as you've checked and made sure it was correctly square, it should just drop in. And that's pretty much how you assemble the fire pit. Pretty simple. Simple hand tools. It is a little bit heavy once you do assemble it, so you might want to do it where you're going to leave it, or you can go ahead and carry it out to wherever you're going to have the fire pit in the future. Thanks for watching the video. As always, if this helped out, please like or subscribe.